Following your experience with MIDI file and MusicXML import, you can see the advantages in being able to grab files from other programs and make beautiful scores out of them in Sibelius. It's also quite likely that at some point in your Sibelius career, you'll want to share a file with someone who doesn't have Sibelius. Obviously, the best solution is to remedy them of their ailment and persuade them to buy the world's fastest, smartest and easiest notation software. But failing that, you might need to think about which format is best for sharing. In addition, you might want to promote your music to a wider community in a number of formats. You've already learned how to export PDF, and that's a great format to share online, although obviously a PDF score won't play back. MIDI will play back, but the quality depends on the playback of the host's computer software, so isn't reliable to represent your music well. To export MIDI, simply go to the File menu, which opens the Backstage. Click on Export, just next to Gwyneth Paltrow, and then click MIDI. The default settings are almost always the ones you want, so just click Export. Your book gives details on how to import this MIDI file into Pro Tools, and the process would be similar in most sequencers. Should you want to share your score with someone else who uses other notation software, you now know that MusicXML is a better choice than MIDI. Go again to Export in the Backstage, and this time choose MusicXML. Unless you know that the person you're sending it to can't open a compressed XML file, export it compressed. If what you want to share is how your score sounds, you may like to send the score as a PDF and an MP3 of your playback from Sibelius. If you're using Sibelius 7 sounds or one of the other fine virtual instruments that we're going to look at in Lesson 5, then the playback you can generate will doubtless be much better than MIDI. Sibelius exports uncompressed audio. This means that it is ideal for burning straight to CD at full quality, but not so great for downloading or emailing thanks to its large file size. Go to the Backstage again, and this time under Export, choose Audio. On a Mac, the format is AIF, and on a Windows computer, it's WAV. The file size can be seen here, and at nearly 39 megabytes, it's much too big to email. Luckily, converting the file to MP3 is relatively easy and can be done with free software on both platforms. In your book, there are instructions for doing it using Apple's free iTunes. Click Export and choose the location you'd like to save the file to. When Sibelius renders the audio file, it does so offline, meaning that although the recording is nearly 4 minutes, the audio file can be made in a fraction of that time. The final format for sharing your score online uses Sibelius's special Scorch web browser plugin. Available from www.sibelius.com/scorch, this plugin allows anyone to open Sibelius files right from within a web page on supported web browsers. To create your own Scorch web pages, simply go to Export again, and this time choose Scorch web page. Choose the classic template for now and increase the default width of the score to 900 pixels. Check the Keep Aspect Ratio and Allow Printing and Saving checkboxes, and then click Export. Choose a location to save the web page, and then close or minimize Sibelius and find the web page that you just saved. In fact, you'll find two files, a copy of your Sibelius file and an HTML file. If you have your own website, you'll need to upload both of these files to the same folder. Double-click the HTML file to see what it will look like. If the score doesn't show, check on the Sibelius website that you're using one of the supported web browsers. Inside Scorch, users can play back your score with various controls such as tempo and even transposition. If you've allowed it, they can also print and save your score. If you don't have your own website or use a web engine like WordPress which won't allow you to upload Scorch websites, don't despair. Instead, check out www.scoreexchange.com, where you can upload your Sibelius scores and give them away for free or sell them online. The final way of sharing your Sibelius files is probably the most exciting, at least if you have an iPad. Avid Scorch for iPad is a recent release and enables you to view, playback and do much more with Sibelius files on your iPad. Here is our song Purple on Scorch for iPad. The blue playback line follows playback just as it does in Sibelius. The Parts button enables you to jump into a part quickly from the score, and you can use your iPad as a music stand, playing along with your part while Scorch accompanies you by playing back the rest of the band. Scorch works in either orientation, and has a fantastic full-screen mode for when you are performing right from the iPad. You can even perform some pretty advanced edits on your score, including transposing the score or changing the staff to a different instrument, including transposition of that instrument or a guitar tab. If you've got an iPad, you can download Avid Scorch for iPad from the iTunes Store.